Genesis 2:1, so the creation of the heavens and the earth and everything in them was completed. On the seventh day, God had finished his work of creation, so he rested from all his work. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because it was the day when he rested from all of his work. Creation was completed, God rested from his work, and he declared the seventh day, Saturday, to us, to be holy. The idea of a Sabbath rest appears elsewhere in the Bible and has its roots in Genesis 2, but the word Sabbath is nowhere to be found in Genesis 2. God rested on the seventh day of creation, and later in history he will command that Israel rest on the seventh day for a specific reason, a sign of the Mosaic covenant to be observed by Israel. Exodus 31:12, then the Lord gave these instructions to Moses. Tell the people of Israel, be careful to keep my Sabbath day, for the Sabbath is a sign of the covenant between me and you from generation to generation. In the Genesis account of creation, and on until God gives Israel the Sabbath as a sign of the Mosaic covenant, man is not given a command to rest. God rested, but Adam and Eve were not commanded to rest. They probably never got tired. Oh, to have life again as it was before the fall. But wait, that's right. That's exactly the future of the believer. The seventh day brought to pass an indefinite period of time wherein God had no work to do. Creation was complete, and since there was no sin, there was no decay to refurbish. It is in this time that God simply delighted in the work of his hands and was thoroughly enjoying the perfection of his creation. At the end of the seventh day, there was evening and there was morning statement, because the seventh day of rest was not to cease. God also declared the seventh day as holy. When we speak of God as being holy, we mean that he is completely other than and above anyone and anything else that exists. When God declared the seventh day as holy, he meant that it was a different sort of day that should be used to remember the Creator and all things he created in the other 6 days. The question most Christians have today is, what does it mean to me? Is there some Sabbath that I am to observe? Now that Jesus has come, now that he has fulfilled the law, is there a Sabbath for anyone? No, there's not. However, it's certainly wise to set aside one day each week to rest and focus on all God has done for us. It could be Sunday, but does not have to be. In speaking of a new covenant, he makes the first one obsolete. And what is becoming obsolete and growing old is ready to vanish away. In many respects, Jesus treated the Sabbath like any other day of the week. It was a day to glorify God like all other days. There's no such thing as a Christian Sabbath, and there's no scriptural support for Sunday being the Christian Sabbath. Once Paul turned to the Gentiles, the only mention of the Sabbath was to inform us of its irrelevance. So don't let anyone condemn you for what you eat or drink, or for not celebrating certain holy days or new moon ceremonies or Sabbaths, for these rules are only shadows of the reality yet to come, and Christ himself is that reality. So why celebrate the type when we have the real? Amazingly, what has not changed, no matter where you go in the world, you can see this truism. Everyone recognizes and counts days and time based on a 7-day week. It's an odd practice for the world to keep because the length of a solar year, whether it's 360 days or 365 days, neither number is divisible by 7. It's one of those things that goes unnoticed by the world that points to the biblical account of a 6-day creation with a 7th day of rest. Points to ponder. The word Sabbath is nowhere to be found in Genesis 2. The Sabbath was a sign of the Mosaic covenant to be observed by Israel. At the end of the 7th day, there was evening and there was morning statement because the 7th day of rest was not to cease. This class, and indeed the entire school, is dedicated to helping others see that God is bigger than we think and better than we know. To get to the next video, make a note of the class number for this recording. Then search for the next one. Here is a sample. If this video is number L01.1, then the next one is L01.2. And remember to like and subscribe on YouTube and follow on Rumble.